We are so thrilled that you are here today for news, but come on back on Tuesday at noon Pacific. That's Pacific Standard Time. If you're in the United States, we fall back and gain an hour on Sunday.
Woo.
The saddest night of the year is the first night of Standard Time.
I love Standard Time.
Oh my God, it's so dark so early. It's the worst.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, when it was daylight time, when I used to have an office job, I always sun in my eyes in the morning, sun in my eyes at night, and then Standard Time meant closer to Christmas.
I think this is a bummer though, but we're here to be joyful and celebrate because we reached 25,000 subscribers here at our Breakfast All Day YouTube channel. That was my goal for the end of 2023. And we did it with like months to spare. So we're just going to keep going and building. And we're so happy to have all of you here. We're going to celebrate on Tuesday, November 7th at noon Pacific. Wear your party hats, bring your questions. We're going to do an Ask Us Anything. We've not done that in a couple of months. So bring all your hard-hitting journalistic investigative questions for us, and we will be happy to answer them. So we're happy to do that. Thanks. So much inside baseball news this week, but it's all kind of juicy, so we've got to share it with you. The big thing is there's this huge story in Variety about how Marvel is in turmoil. And this is not really a big surprise. We talk about a lot of Marvel stuff on our Patreon, a lot of TV shows. We're doing Loki recaps right now. But, you know, when we talked about She-Hulk, for example, one of the things we commented on a lot was that it looked like crap. And that is because of the visual effects artists were being rushed to get it done. We know more about what happened there in this article, but also the big hand wringing is what to do about Jonathan Majors.
It used to be at this time of year, you and I would get the flood of first VHS cassettes, then DVDs. And now a lot of the studios are sending you links to the for your consideration stuff. And I got a link today for Creed 3. And I was like, oh yeah, like that was this year, and there's like, oh yeah, Jonathan Majors, and so yeah, I think everything in that Variety article, I mean, juicy for sure, but at the same time, not a super shock. Yeah. Like I think even as just casual observers could tell, things are not going as swimmingly as they always have over there.
Right. So the thing with Jonathan Majors, of course, is that he is Kang. He is like the center point of this next phase going forward.
Yes.
On Loki, he is a multitude of variations of Kang and He Who Remains and all that. But also he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which also kind of looked like crap here and there. And he is, you know, the person that they are banking on, an enormously talented actor, you know, great presence. And the Kang.
There's an Avengers movie in the pipeline with Kang in the title.
Literally his name.
Yeah.
It's the titular role. So there's a problem now. Like, what do we do? Because like Magazine Dreams was going to come out on December 8th. That's not Marvel. That's a whole other like prestige award thing that he did. They have pulled that. Disney's pulled that from the schedule because his assault trial begins a few days prior to that. So it's all like, what do we do? So there's a big long article in Variety. What do you guys think about this? Do you notice this in the Marvel stuff that you consume? Are you just done with Marvel? Part of the problem too, they talk about, and this is what you and I talk about here too, is that like they want to have a movie and a TV show in front of your eyes at all times, right? There's no expectation. Oh, yeah. It's just like constant content. And there's no like making people wait and have excitement for an upcoming event. So that's a problem.
Yeah, it's like the thing I always say about, you know, Star Wars movies. I enjoyed them more when you had to wait 5 years for one.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, the it turns out maybe you can get too much of a good thing, or at least these are things that require the effort and time that the current schedule is untenable.
Yeah. So that's one thing. And then also, apparently, the head of HBO, Casey Bloys, was doing burner accounts on Twitter to troll TV critics who said mean things about his shows. And then he apologized for it. So I guess there already was, like, I guess their version of an upfront on the schedule for yesterday, Thursday. And this big Rolling Stone story came out about, like, you know, the fact that he was setting up fake accounts to hassle people and trying to like galvanize criticism.
Yeah.
Because people didn't love his stuff. And now he apologized, but now he says in this big meeting with all the TV writers that they had yesterday, now, as many of you know, I like to DM you personally and share my thoughts and engage me back and forth. I'm like, I don't want the CEO of HBO like reaching out, slipping into my DMs and shaking me down.
Hell no. And you know what? Is he sorry he did it, or is he sorry he got caught?
Ding. And why is he so fucking thin-skinned? Like, how do you ascend to such height? And like, it's a tough business. How are you so thin-skinned that you can't handle a little negativity?
I do love the occasional reminders, though, for all that a lot of people in the industry say, oh, the reviews don't matter. I don't even read them, blah, 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 blah. Some people stay up nights thinking about them. So, there is that.
Wealthy, powerful people.
Exactly. We have that going for us. But yeah, I mean, this is right up there with when Sony just made up a critic from whole cloth back in the 90s. But yeah, and again, this is why so much of social media is so irritating, because like, you get these responses that it's like, well, are you a real person, or are you a bot, or are you like an employee at HBO who has just had this dumped in his lap as a new thing you have to do? The only reason this even surfaced is because of the employee who is suing HBO and like the Idol production, because for various reasons, but one of them was getting saddled with a bunch of things that weren't his job, and this was one of them.
Well, you guys are all real. We're not suggesting that you guys are bots.
Never.
We love you. We
all
love
25,000 of our subscribers are real.
More, even more. We keep going. So that happened. And then there's also a story in Variety about how Lisa Marie Presley, before her death, sent an email to Sofia Coppola expressing great concern about the script for Priscilla. We just reviewed Priscilla last week, I want to say. And apparently she did not like the way that script has been adapted from her mother, Priscilla Presley's memoir, and that she had planned to speak out against it. And then, sadly died earlier this year. So that is funny because that totally validates what a lot of folks in our comment section are saying about Priscilla Presley. If you go and look at our Priscilla review, and we'll link to it at the end here, people are mad. Elvis fans are mad, and they're very vocal.
I would like to know what Lisa Marie thought about the book in the first place. I mean, this is one of those weird family dynamics where it's like, these are events that that Lisa Marie has no memory of firsthand. She either hadn't been born yet or was an infant, toward the end of where the book covers. And, it's like her dad died when she was very young, which sucks. But like, I don't know. She spent her life with her mom, but decides not to take her mom's word for stuff. I don't know. This is like one of those family arguments you just want to back into the bush and get away from. And I don't want to know. But I feel like often that, I've certainly, I've encountered in doing the book that I was just working on, there's this thing sometimes where like the family's sort of approved version of events for public consumption are not necessarily what went down, but it's how they want to sort of burnish the image of the departed. So I don't know. I don't know what to say.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, and it's big personalities, and it's the unreliable nature of memory. And
sure. No. And again, it's like, the survivor gets to tell the story, which in itself may or may not be the truth, but who's there to contest it,
We have some fun news too. Something fun to look forward to. The trailer is out for The Fall Guy.
You are literally the last person on earth I want to see slap the shit out of you. I really could.
And I'm open to that in a safer environment.
This is David Leitch's version of The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling in the Lee Majors role. Do you know this movie exists?
I just found out about it, and I was like, I thought, oh, that title's been used. And then I said, oh, no. This is the movie of the TV show with Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Gosling. And it's a huge cast. Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Winston Duke, Stephanie Hsu is in it. It looks fun. And David Leitch, of course, as we know from Atomic Blonde and Bullet Train, like he does not mess around when it comes to choreography. So a movie about a stuntman, I think from him could be a lot of fun.
It could, yeah. I mean, I was not a big fan of Bullet Train, and it didn't really work for me, but look, a year ago we were saying Ryan Gosling in the Barbie movie. So, it's like, all right, if you say so, sure. Let's see how that goes.
He's clearly having a lot of fun, like taking the piss out of like what a beautiful specimen he is and making fun of just hyper masculinity in general. So he seems to be on board for this. So that comes out on March 1st.
The serious actor of it all too, that he's doing these larks in a way, compared to, he's not doing the Daniel Day-Lewis route right now.
Right. Then compared to The Place Beyond the Pines or,
Exactly.
all those things. So or Drive. This is a lot of fun. Matthew Perry, we talked about earlier this week, very, very sadly died over the weekend. And
Yes.
the Matthew Perry Foundation is going to go on in his name, doing his work. We learned this just today that he worked really hard in the latter years of his life to overcome addiction, to help others overcome addiction, help others who were struggling. And he even said there's an interview that has been out there quite a bit in the last few days about how I hope that when I die, people don't just talk about friends, they talk about the work I did to help others. And this is exactly what it puts forth. So the Matthew Perry Foundation will continue. We forgot to mention in recent news segments that Suzanne Summers also died.
Yes.
It is not a great conspiracy. It's been suggested that we did not mention her death because she voted for Trump. I don't know who she voted for.
This is the first time hearing about that.
Exactly.
No, we were both traveling. We lost sight of things. So no, she was an icon of the 70s. I remember when Three's Company was in its original run, and it was, it was the hottest thing on television in various different definitions of that word. And yeah, I mean, like going all the way back to she's the girl in the T-Bird from American Graffiti. Like, she was a legend.
Very cannily used her gorgeous looks and her comic timing for great comedy. So that was good. And then Richard Moll also died.
Yes.
Bull from Night Court.
Yes, who also later appeared in But I'm a Cheerleader. He was a great character actor.
Could achieve a lot with a little, with that presence and that voice and that timing.
Yes. Yeah. No, he and Suzanne Summers were both very funny and very integral to making the shows they were on into hits.